Hi everyone, Frank Starling here. I wanted to make a quick tutorial on some of the tips and tricks that I use when acquiring vehicles on Craigslist. I thought the best use of our time to try and explain this to you would be to walk through um, kind of my thinking process on the settings that I use when looking for vehicles on Craigslist. And over the past couple of years, I've found this to be pretty successful in acquiring inexpensive vehicles from approximately $500 to $2,000 in price range. Um, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on cars and trucks within Craigslist, and then we're always going to look for owner-only vehicles. The dealer prices really are inflated and marked up, so for the purpose of this video, we're only going to be interested in owner-owned vehicles. So while these are more inexpensive vehicles, we really can find some really good reliable cars here to serve as transportation, basic transportation. So some of the settings that I would use and that I look for when acquiring vehicles is I look for a really low mileage. So I'm only interested in vehicles with mileage under 70,000. And I enter in a minimum odometer reading here of 2,000 miles. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change that to 20,000, simply because a lot of vehicles will say that they have 5,000 miles on them, and it's really a misprint for 50,000. Or they'll say something like they only have 100 or 12,000 miles on them, and what they really mean is 120,000. So just to filter out some of those erroneous entries in our search and make it a little bit easier, I like to filter between 20,000 to 70,000. For model year, again, I want this to be a reliable vehicle that will take me A to B, back and forth to work, so I'm only interested in 1999 or up. And to rule out some of the leased vehicles that are on Craigslist, I'm going to say that I can comfortably confirm that I'm not going to find a vehicle under a 2014 for the price range that I'm interested in. So I find that if I set the upper limit to 2014, I can quickly filter out all of those vehicles. In terms of price range, I'm looking for a range of $200 to, I'll call it $1,900 for my budget. I'm interested in traveling up to 60 miles from my zip code, which is in Boston. And also, because I do want a reliable vehicle, I'm only interested in clean titles. I don't want to deal with rebuilt or salvaged vehicles. So once I set in these parameters, I can go ahead and update the search on Craigslist and see what I can find. So it looks like I have a couple of options here. Just quickly scrolling through, I actually really like this Chrysler Sebring right here for $1,600 in Worcester. So I can go ahead and click on it to find out a little bit more information about it. I see that it has 68,000 miles on it, which is definitely on the upper side of my requirements, what I'm looking for the odometer reading. It does seem pretty nice. I like the leather seats. It does seem to be in pretty good condition, but I'm going to go ahead back and take another look at another vehicle. There really isn't a lot in this description, and when sellers list minimal information like this, I find usually there's some sort of hidden problem with the vehicle, and that's just my gut instinct. I'm going to go ahead and head back, and I'm going to take a look at this Buick. Buicks are actually pretty good vehicles, and they're somewhat of a luxury vehicle. So I like this line right here, need gone ASAP. That's always a good thing. When you have a motivated seller, usually you can get the best deals. Super clean interior, V6 with less than 34,000 original miles. This is looking really good. Definitely low on the mileage. I don't want to deal with any sort of engine or transmission problems, as they're inexpensive, timely, and frankly, not something that I want to bog down my weekends with. Brakes are sketchy, which, honestly, a brake job is rather inexpensive, but if you're looking for vehicles in this price range, you might be able to save a couple dollars doing these yourself. Brake jobs are definitely something that you can do in your backyard or in your driveway. Need to be bled. Again, if you look at Harbor Freight, or if you want to comment below, about how to do those, how to bleed your brakes. I'm sure there's a lot of videos on YouTube, or if there's enough interest, I could actually show you. Um, and use new tires and ball joints. Wow, now we're getting into a little bit more of expensive repairs. No dings or dents, but some rock or rot. Yeah, structural integrity. That's really important on the vehicle. Um, I'd have to say I'm going to pass on this vehicle. Just a lot of repairs it looks like that needs to be made on them, and I really think that we can do better for this price. So I'm going to go ahead and head back, and let's look for something else. Here's a funky looking 2003 PT Cruiser, and I actually like these vehicles because I feel like they're often overlooked. I personally find them to be unattractive vehicles, but with that, I find that a lot of these vehicles get passed up for really cheap. So it's a 2003, which is a little bit on the old side for us, black with purple flames. Not crazy about the look, but really I'm just looking for an A to B. Need some TLC. I'd really like for the seller to elaborate on that. If we click on the reply button up here in the top left, we can see that they did not list their phone number, only an email. Usually when this happens, the sellers are going to be a little bit slower to reply, so I'm a little bit hesitant to reach out to them at this point. 68,000 miles is really on the upper side of what I'm looking at, and as usual, it's cash only. Let's go ahead and take a look at one more vehicle, just so I can kind of explain a little bit more of the thinking and the scrutiny that I undergo in my Craigslist searches. So let's look at this 1999 Cadillac Eldorado, which is definitely on the upper limit of age for what we're looking for, but being a Cadillac, these cars are great. They ride perfect, they handle well, and they're just timeless pieces of American automotive history. So it's a 1999 Cadillac Eldorado with 52,000 miles, which is great. These vehicles easily go into 150,000 mile range. Brake light came on and emergency brake is stuck. These are really minor repairs that really shouldn't scare off a buyer. Something is wrong with the brakes. That's not good. Don't know what the problem is, but it's a pretty simple mechanism, and again, as we talked about previously, brake jobs are fairly inexpensive and easy to do. Need to get rid of it ASAP, which is always a good thing to know that the seller is motivated. Great. Cosmetically, the car appears to be in good shape and is reported by the seller to be in good shape. For $900, I should have a decent amount of wiggle room in my budget to use for repairs of this vehicle. I see that a hubcap's missing here, but personally I'm just looking for an A to B vehicle, so that really doesn't bother me. The major thing I think about this vehicle is going to be the brakes, but that's something that I feel relatively comfortable with. If I click on the reply button up here in the top left, I see that the contact name is Chris and he left his phone number. I really like when I can reach out directly to the seller. It makes the whole communication process a lot easier and tells me that they truly are motivated and it isn't a scam. It's not something that you have to watch out on Craigslist. The other thing that I look for when I'm when a vehicle passes all of my criteria up until this point is to see the posted date. Typically, you're going to find the best deals if you locate a vehicle within a few hours of it being posted. This vehicle has been on here for 8 days, which tells me it's not the best deal in the world, but I still think there's some value to have here. So I think this is actually a vehicle I'm going to be following up with. One thing that I wanted to go over real quickly in this video is also what are the next steps, and I will make a follow-up video to talk more in depth about them, but just to give you a quick teaser, when you are contacting the seller, there's a couple of things that you should really convey in your initial message to them. One would be that you have cash in hand, the other being that you are looking to buy a vehicle within the next 72 hours. And the reason why you should say that is to put a little bit of pressure on the seller to let them know that one, you're serious about buying a vehicle, and two, that they can't just blow you off looking for the best offer on a vehicle, that you will be acquiring a vehicle within a finite amount of time. The last thing that I think you should express to them is that you have cash in hand and aren't going to be tire kicking. You want to express that you have a way of transporting the vehicle that day and are interested in signing papers. Lastly, you should be leaving a phone number with them so that they can reach out to you easily. And it shows that you are truly interested in the vehicle. Um, the last thing that I'll mention in this vehicle is a request for everyone just to be respectful on Craigslist. This is one of my favorite ways to buy deals or find deals on vehicles on the internet. And while a lot of people use it, not everyone is always respectful. So, um, please be respectful of the seller, their time, and their products, what they're offering on Craigslist. So thanks for watching. This is Frank Starling. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, and I look forward to hearing your replies. Thanks, everyone. Bye.